On behalf of Karnataka Private School Parents Association's Coordination Committee and Voice of Parents Karnataka Association, I welcome the members of the media fraternity to the press meet. And my dear friends, well-wishers and fellow countrymen who are watching this on live television and on Facebook Live, a very good afternoon to one and all. Today we are sitting here out of sheer concern for the fundamental right of children. Their exams are approaching soon and we fear the children will be impacted. Till the parents could pay the fees, they went out of their way to provide for the children. Today we have become helpless. As parents, we have become helpless. With regard to the government order EP 33 PGC 2021 dated 29 January, this order has come after 10 months into the pandemic and after 10 months into the academic year at the fag end. The government order has been passed only after the willingness expressed by some of the school management associations to reduce anywhere between 50 to 30%. The ICSE and CBSE school management associations wanted the parents to approach them on a case-to-case basis and submit our bank passbooks, pay slips, termination letters, etc., to prove that we merit some concession. We are not asking for charity. Why must we bear all? They are no authority to peep into our finances. They are not some income tax officers. They are not some department to scrutinize our books. They must be subject to scrutiny, audit and approval process on a case by case. The schools, if any of them have a stake or claim to anything more than 70% of the tuition fees ordered by the government. Though this order did not meet all the demands of the parents, yet parents have accepted the order of the government and respect it and willing to comply with it and support our government. This is our government, so we are willing to support our government to implement the same. But the onus must lie with the department to enforce and implement the said order. It appears the burden has come on the shoulders of the parents to rein in the violating schools by pursuing complaints, and the guidelines are very cumbersome. Some of the procedures mentioned in the guidelines: duties of the BEO. Special counter at BEO has to be opened to receive complaints from parents. We are 10 days into that since these directions have come out. Even after a week of the committee formation, the counter is not yet set up at the BEO offices. They are required to take necessary steps to ensure that all students in the school where the dispute is filed are not affected until the dispute is settled. This must be done on a priority and mandatorily even before any complaint process begins. There are certain procedures for the school managements also mentioned over there. The school managements are required to give an affidavit to the inquiry committee, and it shall be submitted to ensure that students attending the disputed schools are not deprived of by any form of education. The government must seek this affidavit mandatorily on a priority even without any complaint before any process can begin. Then there are certain guidelines for the committees to settle the disputes. The committee chairperson shall set forth the date, time and place of the hearing. BEO offices to issue notices to appear for the hearing to the schools and to the parents. And a consolidated report at the end of the month, after 1 month, at the end of the month, a consolidated report about the schools that complied with the orders issued for the dispute and the settlement complaints received only for the academic year 2021 must be compulsorily submitted. It is a long drawn process, my friends. By the time this process reaches any conclusions, the schools would have closed for the academic year. The exams of the children would have been over and the schools would have compelled the parents to pay the fees, and we would have had to pay the fees to see that our children sit for the exams. To reduce the litigation, why don't we ask the few schools who are aggrieved by the order to be subject to an audit by the department. The government has said pay 70% of the tuition fees that existed in 1920. Parents are willing to comply with that. If any school has got any demand for any fees more than 70%, let them give their audited accounts for verification and scrutiny and for approval by the department. The parents are willing to pay for it. Schools have been violating, the private schools have been violating rules in many manners. While private schools are making some absurd statements claiming this does not apply to ICSE and CBSE schools, it applies to government schools, aided schools, and state board schools. This is one of the remarks the schools are making. Some schools are saying we have not received any such order. They are expecting some special hand delivery. But that was not so when the direction was given to collect one-term fees. Then they got the circulars and directions immediately. Some schools say they have a stay in court, hence their fee structure will continue to apply, etc. They continue to demand full fees. Many schools violate the child's fundamental right and continue to deactivate the online classes. Some schools threaten not to allow children to do exams. Some schools hold back the results. Some schools threaten promotion will not be granted. Some schools go to the extent of threatening the parents with dire consequences of issuing a TC to the child. Some schools have come out with novel ways. There are some new ways. There are some old ways. One of them is to compel the parents to pay the full fees, saying, if your full fees is not paid, your child will not be given readmission to the next class. What is this readmission? There is no such thing. This is ridiculous. Schools have several ways to coerce and force the parents to pay the full fees. The school management associations are engaged in a drama. Initially, this order was met by threats from the school managements to challenge the order in court. Now probably that is not in their interest. Then after 14 days, the private school managements are threatening a strike, an empty rhetoric to pressurize our government. Now, some associations have backtracked to support their friendly associations for a common minimum reduction of 15%. Then they have withdrawn that offer also under pressure from bigger and mightier CBSE and ICSE associations to revoke the order completely. Absurd reactions. They demand liberty to deal with needy parents. CAMS wants customized reduction in their hands instead of a blanket order. After denying just that to parents for the last 10 months, when we were running from pillar to post and asking for a reduction, they did not budge. Today they want the control in their hands to discuss and decide a customized reduction. What do they mean by a customized reduction? On parent to parent? Does every parent have to dig a well to get one glass of water? Or is it the responsibility of the government of Karnataka to flow the river Kaveri so that everybody gets the water? MICSA, M-I-C-S-A, MICSA, the Association of Richest Schools, is crying for assistance and package from the government and assistance for parents. They are the well-wishers of the parents. Amazing. After terminating an average 25% staff and paying the remaining 75%, only a 50% salary or even lesser depending on the number of hours they are conducting online class. That amounts to a mere 37.5%. 25% teachers have been removed. What remains is only 75% teachers. If they are getting only half the salary, it is only 37.5%. And they want 100% fees from the parents. And when they are forced to take a little cut in their fees, they are threatening to justify a 30% salary cut to teachers. Shameless guys, still in a state of denial. They are not even talking about the reduced recurring expenditure incurred by their institutions. Yet, they want the government to make good the so-called losses suffered by them, by the private schools. Sure, why not? Please submit your audited accounts to the department for verification, the so-called losses. amazing arguments being made. Let the school managements comply with the requirement to submit the statement of accounts of fees, and that shall be subject to audit by the department before publishing the nature of fees. This is the requirement as per the rules, as per the Gazette notification issued on 19 July 2019. Last but not least, there is a stunning set of demands to reopen schools for standard 1 to 5 so that they can justify the loot. Last, they are the guys with deep pockets and the cause and source of corruption at the BEO and DDP level. Now they are crying foul and want to tackle corruption and so-called harassment. The parents are the harassed ones. After bribing their way for several years to escape the fire safety requirement compliance by suppressing the Supreme Court orders, now they want it dropped. What levels can they further stoop to? Wondering, are our children safe in the hands of such managements? Luckily for us, we have the teachers who constantly have a watchful eye on our children. Our utmost gratitude, and we remain indebted to them. Thank God for making the breed called teachers. Parents have never been averse to paying the actual salaries of the teachers and support staff, and likewise also the actual expenditure of the schools, but no surpluses. If the government even considers rollback of even 1%, parents will come out on the streets again. There was an attempted suicide already for harassing the child. Are they now waiting to lose the precious life of some child before they wake up to the atrocities of the schools? This morning, I have seen one child in Hyderabad has committed suicide because the parent was not able to pay the fees. From the time the online classes have started in the month of June and July, there have been numerous suicides of parents and students because the parents could not afford gadgets, because the children felt ashamed in front of their friends, they are unable to attend the online classes. What are we waiting for? How many more lives are we going to lose to wake up? These managements have to be curtailed and brought under control, and we have a request to the government for the next academic year. Let the government appoint a fee determination committee like in Tamil Nadu, and also appoint an ombudsman to handle the grievances of the parents, teachers, and also the school managements.